Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the land of the big breath. This is going to be fun. If you really pay attention and you do the practice, it'll change your life. It'll make you healthier, wealthier, wiser, and attract more wonderful things into your life. Most people have forgotten how to breathe properly, and we're going to remind you what you already know, what's easy and what's fun. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my background, and then I'm going to talk about oxygen, the big O. And that's going to be really interesting because only 20 to 24% of the air that's here is oxygen. The rest is nitrogen and a few other things. And the beautiful thing about it is that it's free. Nobody can put a meter on it, but it's also not observable. So you need to pay attention to the concept of how the breath comes into your body. I've been teaching yoga since maybe 1974. I've taught all over the world. I've taught pranayama. I was a healer for 10 years and doing polarity therapy. And then I became an acupuncturist, and the great joy of my life. And I've taught 2 acupuncture schools. I teach at the big conferences, and I've treated probably 40,000 people in my life. And that's been really easy to do because it's been fun, and I've gotten probably the best patients in the world all my life. I've taught in Mexico, England, Australia, India, all over the world. And it's been something really important to remind people of the ancient knowledge that was passed down to us from the Egyptians, from the ancient Indians, rishis, and it's knowledge that's really going to change your life. So we're here in Carmel, California, Monterey, and we have the cleanest air in the world here. And I consciously chose to live here by grace of the divine. And I've had clean air all my life, but I've also traveled and taught in every hellhole on earth. So I know what bad air is. I've been to Cairo, I've been to Mexico City, I've been to La Paz, I've been to Calcutta and Delhi and Hong Kong. It's just the quality of air is terrible, but the chances of improving are good. I saw Pittsburgh in 1964 when I was hitchhiking cross country, and you couldn't even see the city. And the river caught fire, the Monongahela caught fire in 1965, I think, and now it's clear. So we're going to look back on these days as like the Stone Ages, as the time of the Neanderthals, and things will get better, I promise you. We're about to experience leaps in technology that we haven't even been able to imagine. But the real secret is not outside. The real secret is for you to go inside. And I'll talk to you a little bit about other DVDs that I've done and how to go inside your body and how to explore inside your body and how to feel not only the obvious, but the subtle and the subtle within the subtle. So we take a breath and we become completely present here. So oxygen was discovered, so to speak, in about 1774 and was given the name oxygen by Lavoisier. And ever since then, it's been a mystery, wrapped in a conundrum, wrapped in an enigma. And the ancient practitioners, the ancient yogis, really, really figured this out. They figured out how it works. And you add to that the knowledge of the Chinese and in acupuncture and the Taoists, and you add to that the knowledge of the Egyptians, and even the modern day, things are changing and growing literally as we speak. So my father used to say that if something was so close to you that he would say if it was a bear, it would bite you. that your nose is so close to you and your breath is so close to you, and that it's so automatic that we forget what the process is, and that we can actually have more control over our breathing and how we breathe and what we bring into our lungs than we can possibly imagine. And I'm going to teach you how to do that, and it's going to be fun and it's going to be easy. I'm going to talk a little bit about physiology, the things that you either slept through in school or you forgot since, or that weren't really taught very well, which is really usually the case. In my world, the things that are most center are most important, the things that are highest are most important, and the things that are most protected are most important. In theory, millions and millions and millions of years of evolution have brought us to this, incredible point where we are actually able to go in with electron microscopes and see everything that's going on. And it's never been available before. It's like getting a new set of eyes, really something extraordinary. So one of the most obvious things that people forget is that your lungs on the right have 3 lobes, and your lungs on the left have 2 lobes. And the 3rd lobe is taken up by the heart. So you're actually breathing in a slightly imbalanced way. So your lungs are slightly heavier on the right than the left. Male lungs are heavier than female lungs in general. And there's just an incredible process about how air gets into your body. Even though I like to tell people, take your breath down to your feet, or take your breath into your left hip, or take your breath into your 5th lumbar, or something like that, the reality of it is the breath only goes into the sac. That's really it. They are literally bags of air inside of your body, and they're magnificently designed. So if you're only getting like 20 to 24% oxygen out of your air, you want to maximize your utilization of oxygen, and you want to maximize the amount of oxygen that comes into your body. The more you breathe, the more oxygen you're going to get into your body. And the secret hides in the little red blood cells, which have iron in them. And the red blood cells absorb the oxygen, and they pass it throughout the body, and they exchange very, very easily and automatically, where the oxygen comes into the body and the carbon dioxide comes out. And then the carbon dioxide is circulated around and disposed of. It's so simple and yet so magnificent in its construction. The air has to be at the right temperature coming into your body, and it has to be at the right cleanliness. So we have a process inside of our head where the cilia of the nose and the turbinates inside your body. The turbinates circulate the air and warm it to a proper temperature, and the cilia take out any kind of pollutants in the air if you're lucky. And there's natural antibacterial material inside of your sinuses. And so if you understand that you're the only place in the world where you're in constant contact with the outside of the world is through your nose. It's always open, and it's always available. And it's going to take you in. I'm going to take you into a micro world and how that works once it gets into your body. I appreciate every breath, literally. I've hiked over 18,500-foot passes in the Himalayas, 6,000 meters, and oxygen is 50% once you get to 18,000 feet. So you want to pay attention to every step. You don't waste a step, you don't waste a breath, and maybe you take 10 steps and then you start panting, and then you continue. So you can imagine what the people are like at Everest. You can't hold on to the breath. You can't store oxygen. And that's kind of an interesting concept to remember. The guy who holds the world's record for holding his breath is a magician named David Blaine. And he is literally one of the most remarkable people on the planet, a true yogi. And on Oprah in 2008, He sat in a tank of water for 17 minutes and 4 seconds and broke the world record. Nobody's ever done it, and probably nobody will ever do it again, would be my guess. He prepared 6 months to do it. He increased his red blood cell count so he has more ability to retain oxygen in his body. So what happens when the breath comes into your body? Your carbon dioxide blood, your venous blood, comes into the right side of your heart, and it's pumped through two ventricles and auricles up into your lungs. It's oxygenated miraculously, and then it's pumped back into the two chambers of your heart, which shoot it out of your aorta oxygenated. And the aorta shoots out on the left here, and obviously it's trying to get up first into your brain and then down into your lower body. I have a DVD called Kundalini Yoga for Klutzes, and I repeat again and again and again, what the body wants is oxygen. What the body wants is oxygen. What the brain wants is oxygen. And if you have a really, really good, clean supply of oxygen, you're going to be healthier and you're going to be happier and you're just going to feel better. And that's kind of what this is about. So the air goes into the lungs through the trachea, and it splits down, 3 lobes on the right, 2 on the left, and it goes down through a series of ever-diminishing passages into what are called alveoli, which if you imagine a bag of very, very tiny grapes, that's where the oxygen ends up. And there's a micron thick fiber where the oxygen naturally comes out because there isn't any, and goes into the blood, and the carbon dioxide comes out. And that happens in the alveoli. And there's only 30 million alveoli in your lungs. Everybody has 30, give or take 1 or 2, 30 million alveoli. And the actual physical surface area is like 120 square meters. It's something absolutely amazing if it were to be flattened out. So this miraculous process takes place. And then the oxygenated blood is circulated throughout your whole body. And every organ, every cell, every atom, every nano, everything takes that into the body to nourish it and make it function better. Every breath. When one of the students asked my Zen master about potential for nuclear disaster, and he says, well, what are you worried about? He says, one day you may breathe in and you may not breathe out, or you may breathe out and you may not breathe in. He said, what could be more precarious than that? And indeed, that's the case. We literally are living breath to breath. And the entire cycle of everything you do in respiration has to do with getting oxygen and circulating it throughout the body, and then getting the old toxins out of the body. So how do you breathe properly? What can we learn about breathing? It's really quite simple. But if you went into any high school in the country and you said to a large group of high school students, okay, everybody take a deep breath, 99% of them would go like this. They'd go, and they'd lift up like that, thinking that they were getting more oxygen into your body. And in fact, what they've done is they've taken their diaphragm and they've lifted it up and cut off the amount of space that your lungs and everything else can expand into. And then they think that's a deep breath. So what we're looking for is we're looking to take a breath where your diaphragm is actually lowered, and you do that by just pushing your tummy out a little bit. And that expands space. The diaphragm is very little understood. It's not taught well, if at all. The diaphragm goes all the way around your cavity, and it separates the upper functions from the lower functions. And it's attached all the way around in the ribs. And its attachments are very, very extraordinary. It attaches down at the lumbars, the second, third lumbar. It attaches to the top thoracics. and it's attached to all the internal organs. So when you breathe, you're actually massaging your internal organs. It's attached to the heart through the pericardium. It's attached to the liver. It's attached to all the internal organs. So they rise and fall at will. I'm going to show you a picture of the diaphragm. And this is a program called The Visible Body. Everybody should get it. It's $25. It's just extraordinary, and it covers the whole body. So these are the ribs, and I said whatever's most protected is most important. So the ribs protect the heart, and they protect the lungs, fundamentally. And with this cool program, you can turn around, you can see the back, and the ribs attach, each rib attached to 2 vertebrae. So when you breathe, you're actually pumping the cerebrospinal fluid in your spine. There's over 80 joints in the rib cage. So there's the manubrium, your frontal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt this so you can look inside, and it's just astonishing. So that's what the diaphragm looks like inside. It attaches all the way around, and the hole there is for nerves and for your spine, for your veins and arteries to go through. But that's basically, it's 360 degrees. And you have to remember that it's a muscle. And whenever you use a muscle, it's going to get stronger. So as we do our breathing exercises, all of our diaphragmatic muscles are going to get stronger. And also the diaphragm is split energetically into right and left. It's fed by 2 different nervous processes, which allow you to control one side of your diaphragm and the other separately, which is a little bit of trivia that you might like. So we're going to learn to breathe. We're going to learn to take the breath in through the nose. And the nose is going to purify the air. It's going to take out bacteria. It's going to take out pollutants. And we're going to put clean air and temperatured air into your body. I'm going to talk a little bit about esoteric physiology in the next section, and it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to take you into the practices. I'm going to talk a little bit about the chakras, the energy centers of your body. We have a whole series of interesting chakras in the body. This is a lovely graphic from an artist in Hawaii. So this would be your crown chakra. This would be your lungs. This would be your heart. This would be your digestion. This here's your digestion, and this is your reproduction, and this is your elimination. So the ones we're actually talking about the most are the heart and the lungs. This is your third eye, and this is your crown chakra. And this is up and down the spine. And as you see, as you're going to learn from our last practice, is the spine rules. And I'm going to show you how to spiritualize and purify the spine. A really, really, really easy practice from the ancient Taoists. So we'll come back in a little while and we'll start our practice. And you take a deep breath, get some fresh air, and I'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. I hope you've been breathing, getting some fresh air into your body. So this is an art piece by a German, wonderful piece. It says, "Think with your heart." And you can see where he located that. So we're going to pay attention to the beating of our heart and pay attention to all the elements that the heart brings to the body. But the heart is the pump. It's a physical pump that is pumping deoxygenated air into your lungs and oxygenated out and to the rest of your body, which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing when you think about it. So I'm going to introduce a practice called Nadi Shodhana. It means alternate nostril breathing. And this goes back to the ancient rishis. And I would say if you had one root practice that you were going to do, this is the one. I encourage people to practice all the methods that we're going to teach inside of this seminar, inside of this talk, inside of this DVD, and do them all. And if you find that you can do it as a practice, I think you're going to be very excited. And once you've learned everything, it takes you about 20 minutes. And I do this practice every day. and I have for a very, very long time. So I know the practice from the inside out. It's not just an intellectual thing for me. And also I'd like to mention that I've been an energy sensitive since 1974. When I found out I had a gift, and the gift was to feel energy inside people's bodies and feel energy in the outer layers of people's bodies, what might be called the auric field. And this usually happens only when I'm actually working. So if I'm not on, I'm not seeing and doing. But I always feel, and I often see. So when I feel energy moving through my body, it's a very, very real experience. And we're coming into something that's called prana, and it has different names in different religions. In the Bible, it's called ruah. In China, it's called qi, as in Tai Chi, as in Qigong. In Japan, it's called ki, as in the martial arts Aikido. In the West, it's known as electromagnetic energy. Electro is positive, magnetic is negative. And positive is male and negative is female. And so this energy flows through your body and it comes together at your nose. And as my father said, if it was a bear, it would bite you because it's so close to in front of you that we can't see it unless somebody trains you in how to perceive. So your right nostril is positive and your left nostril is negative. This is solar, this is gold, this is male. This is lunar, this is silver, this is female. And I'm going to show you how these integrate throughout the chakras and throughout the entire body. And it's really pretty interesting. And once you get it, you got it for the rest of your life. So how do we access electromagnetic energy? And how do we access this crossing inside of the body? I'm going to show you a chart from Dr. Randolph Stone. I would recommend that you go to the internet, make a note of this. It's called Digital Dr. Stone. And Dr. Stone was probably the greatest teacher of energetics in the body in the 20th century. He wrote his books in 1950 and 51. It's called The Wireless Anatomy of Man. So he takes the idea of the caduceus, the symbol for the medical profession, which everybody's forgotten about. Where did it come from and how does it work? So Mercury, against the will of the gods, brought this knowledge to mankind and womankind, the secret of how things work. And now most doctors see this as a way to get into the parking lot and get a parking space, but we practitioners are going to remember its origins. So the main post here is the spinal column. The two wings represent the two hemispheres of your brain, and this represents your pineal and pituitary gland. And the two snakes represent the right and the left energy of the nostril that crosses throughout the body and ends down in the sacrum, where the Kundalini energy resides. So when we're breathing through the nose, we're accessing this entire system where the right and the left cross and recross and cross and recross and cross and recross. And each place they cross is what the Indians call a chakra, an energy center, a whirling disk of energy. And as you can see, it's all positive on the right and all negative on the left. So remember that Digital Dr. Stone. All the secrets are in there that you really want to know. Alternate nostril breathing is way simple. It's so simple that people don't pay so much attention to it. But if you do the practice and you sit inside and you feel the energy move inside of your body, you'll know you'll have a direct experience. Roy Eugene Davis, who is a direct student of Paramahansa Yogananda, says that not sitting quiet after you do the practice is like preparing a very elaborate and complex meal for somebody and then not tasting it. So the idea is you do the practice and then you sit inside and you feel the flow of the chi, the energy, the ki, the ruach, the electromagnetic energy move through your body. And you take the Maoist times during Chairman Mao, you know, the old guys were out in the park and they were doing Tai Chi. And the real guys, they are lit up inside. And they knew the secret of how to access the interior of their body. So I'm going to take you through the practice slowly and easily. The hand position, there's two ways to do the hand position. One is to bend these two fingers down. This is called Vishnu Mudra. And you're going to go like this and like this as you move the nostrils. And the second method is called the I forgot method. And this is the I forgot method. You do it like this. So don't get hooked up, too concerned about hand position. Actually do the practice. So we're going to bring our breath up, and we're going to inhale, and we're going to exhale all the old air, all the carbon dioxide out of our body, and then we're going to inhale. And this is a way of consciously oxygenating your body. This is something you want to do every day of your life. Now, if you're a surfer, like my teacher, Ed Guzman, who's a big wave surfer, these guys know how to breathe. Because if you're out surfing Mavericks and you're being crushed under tons and tons and tons of water for a long period of time, you have to know where your breath is and how it is and how it works. And you consciously oxygenate your body like David Blaine did when he sat 17 minutes underwater. Just astonishing. So we've got the old air out. We're going to close our right nostril with our thumb. We're going to inhale left, close it off, and exhale right. We're going to inhale right, and we're going to exhale left. That constitutes one round. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. That's 2 rounds. Now, I count on my fingers, and a lot of times I count on beads. There's Muslim beads, and there's Buddhist beads, and then there's Hindu beads. They're usually in multiples of 9. There's 108 beads on the Buddhist beads, and there's 108 beads on the Hindu beads. There's 33 times 3 on the Muslim beads, and the old rosary from the Catholic Church, with the original rosary, had 54 beads, 2 times 54. So as you practice, you get the number of beads of the practice you want to do, and you'll see that there's one at the end that tells you you're done, and you go and you count each round that you do. I like to start with 9 and then move to 18. And we're going to do it slowly. When I do my practice in the morning, I do it a little bit more quickly, and I'll do 300 rounds or 100 rounds, depending on my time. So if you think of this almost like a infinity symbol as the air is going into your body and coming out. So right is going to be activating, left is going to be calming. The left goes to your right brain, and the right goes to your left brain. So we're going to sit up straight, inhale, exhale all the old, close the right nostril. We're going to do 9 rounds. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left, 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 inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. 3 more rounds. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left, inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. Last one. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. And then we're going to sit and taste the meal that we prepared. So I literally feel energy moving throughout my whole body. My channels are clear over many, many years of practice. So I can actually feel the energy moving through the channels of my body. And you will too. And that's going to be really exciting. So this chi, this prana is magical. And it may be God himself, God herself, we don't know. But something's moving through these channels that's different from everything else. And as it goes through the channels, it's going to purify the channels. In Ayurveda, the Indians, old ancient rishis said that there's 72,000 channels in the body that end in the soles of the feet. And there's 3 main channels of those 72,000. The main one's in the spine. The second one goes to your solar, which is called a pingala. And the other one goes to the ida, which is the female side of the nostril. So you have positive, neutral, and negative, which is the operating principle of the universe. You've seen the yin and yang symbol trying to pass that ancient knowledge to us. You've seen the caduceus trying to pass that ancient knowledge to us. And this is based on experience. It's based on long, long, long experience, master to student. And even somebody as wild as Terence McKenna thought that the real knowledge came from psychedelic mushrooms that were brought by the Russian shamans down into China. You know, that it lit people up in a way that was absolutely unimaginable, where they could feel all the energy moving in their body. So Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. This is a profound practice. The more you do it, the more you're going to purify your channels, the healthier you're going to get, and the more clear you're going to be, and it's going to be absolutely remarkable. So I remind you one last thing before we end this segment, is that in the ancient traditions from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, that the mind waves in the mind are called vrittis, which means like a whirlpool of energy. So we're way, way overindulged in mind waves, too much television, too much, electromagnetic, devices and things like that. We're way too busy up in our head, and people have forgotten how to sit quietly and pay attention to feel what's going on inside of their body. So this is a way, after you do 9 rounds, 18 rounds, or 108 rounds, you can sit and you'll feel the chi move through your body, and you'll just go like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then you find the subtle, and then you sit even more quietly and you find the subtle within the subtle. And it's absolutely amazing, and it's really, really a lot of fun. And have fun with it, and do it every day. Do it every day. Do it in the morning. Do it before you go to bed at night if you want. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. How do we get the good books? There's a woman in France. She's amazing. Blandine Calais-Germain. It's called The Anatomy of Breathing. She's just a genius. She was a dancer. She's got a phenomenal book on the female pelvis, and she's got a phenomenal book on movement. So I recommend that. And I recommend Iyengar's Light on Pranayama. Is really, really where to go. But the anatomy of breathing will really teach you how the muscles are used to raise and lower the ribs and things like that, all the details. That would be extremely helpful. So go and get that book and see if you like it. But the real work's going to come from the practice. Understand the difference between what it means to take a mouth breath and what it means to take a nasal breath, and what it means to take a breath from one side and what it means to take a breath from the other side. And also to pay attention to volume, how much air is actually coming in, to actually feel it come down through your mouth, over your tongue, down your trachea, split into the lungs. 3 lobes on the right, 2 lobes on the left, and then feel your heart pumping. And we're talking 21,600 breaths a day. That's really amazing. And as you'll see, a lot of these numbers add up to 9. 108 adds up to 9. And I do multiples of 9. In my practice, the American baseball has 108 stitches, which makes it a metaphysical practice as everybody's trying to get home. So this is so simple. It's almost laughably simple, but we're just going to go through it, and you'll see the difference. So we're going to start with 5 breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. So when you inhale, you're actually taking about a half a liter into your lungs, and there's a liter to a liter and a half still in there. So you want to get that old air out before you inhale. So inhale and blow it out. And that's by lifting the diaphragm, getting the old air, pushing the air out of the lungs. And then inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. We're going to do that 5 times. That's 1. Inhale. So that's nasal breathing. That's the first. The second is we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, through maybe slightly pursed lips. So inhale. Distinctly different from the first one, of course. Okay, our third practice, we're going to inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose. And all of these create different electromagnetic events inside of your body. It's just that we're not used to paying attention to them. So we're going to inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose. Feel the air, maybe your mouth drying out a little bit. You can feel the temperature of the air changes as it comes through. It's cooler on the outside and it warms up as it goes down into your lungs. So that's 3 practices that have already changed your whole electromagnetic field and you're not quite aware of it yet. The next one is a little bit different from the alternate nostril breathing. We're going to breathe 5 times through one nostril and then switch and go over to the other nostril. So just follow me. We're going to close off the right nostril and we're going to inhale left, close it off and exhale right. Now go back to the left, close off the right, inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Now you're going to switch. You're going to inhale right and exhale left. Go back to the right, inhale right, exhale left. Inhale right, exhale left. Inhale right, exhale left. Inhale right, exhale left. Now, before we proceed, just feel inside your body. Let your mind relax. And I never get tired of this because it always amazes me to feel how this works, how the energy works inside your body. If you don't feel anything, don't worry about it. Just keep doing the practice. I promise you it will all come to fruition. So at this point, we're going to take 5 normal breaths, just like you normally would, any way you like. Just Now we're going to take 5 breaths, inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the mouth with a slight, almost a whistling sound. So this is a real chance to feel the oxygen, the air come into your body and come out of your body, and feel the changes in temperature and the changes in volume. Okay, begin. Inhale through your mouth. We have one more practice to go in this series. It's called 8 Kriyas. The last one, we're going to take 5 sips of energy through our nose, and then we're going to exhale through our mouth. And we're going to do that 5 times. So it'll sound like this. And feel inside your body. So your body's basically taking all the new information and it's integrating it. And it's sending the energy to where it's needed and will be used. So this is an amazing series. It's not taught very often. This came from Baba Haridas, a great yogi who lived in Watsonville near Santa Cruz at Mount Madonna Center. He just passed. A remarkable, great yogi written about in Ram Dass's Be Here Now. And he brought a lot of this knowledge over to America and just gave it away. It was quite remarkable. The next practice is called Shitali, which means cooling breath. So if you were like in Chicago in the winter, you wouldn't do this practice, but most of the rest of the time it's okay to do. And basically it involves curling the tongue like this. Now truly, only 1 person in 10 is unable to curl their tongue. So if you can't curl your tongue, don't worry about it. Just kind of bite down on your tongue a little bit and breathe around the sides of your tongue. It's a fascinating practice. It says the tongue should be curled like a leaf, like a new beautiful green leaf. And this will really give you the sense of the air coming into your body because it's literally coming through a tube formed by your tongue. And I would remind you in the esoteric world that the tongue has 17 muscles. Think of the possibilities. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do 10. I usually do 15. We'll do 10 today. So it'll sound like this. And then exhale normally. And again, count on your fingers. Feel your diaphragm go down as you create space for this air. And then when you feel that, you just close your eyes and feel inside of your body. Feel how happy your tongue is. Feel the energy circulating through your body and feel how that can cool you off when you're feeling really hot. This cooling breath will cool you down. And it's a serious healing breath for your entire body. The next practice is also simple. It comes from Yogi Bhajan, who was the great leader of the Sikhs in the West, and he brought breathing techniques to America that were just out of this world. And basically, he took a generation of alternative people and hippies and people who were searching for a higher consciousness, and he says, if you want to get high, try breathing instead of drugs. And a generation of people followed him and did the practices and had remarkable experiences. They were called 3HO, healthy, happy, holy. And that's what comes from the practices. Healthy, happy, holy. It's a good deal. So I'm going to give you a little bit of physiology. In the brain, there is a bone that goes literally from side to side. It's called the sphenoid bone. And when it moves slightly like this. And it's the one bone that interacts with all the other bones in the cranium. So it's hugely important. It's very complex. And in the very middle of it is a little saddle called a Turkish saddle. And the pituitary gland sits inside that saddle like that. And is obviously highest, it's obviously most central, and it's obviously most protected. And basically the pituitary gland runs your life. And when it's running well, you don't pay any attention to it. And when it's not running well, you've got a problem. So basically, in polarity therapy, the thumbs represent ether element, the highest energy in the body. In acupuncture, it's the end of the lung meridian, which is even more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our thumbs and we're going to put them in there's a natural groove there at the sort of end of the eyebrow back. Your thumbs will just fall into naturally and feel really comfortable. And what we're going to do is we're going to electromagnetically charge our own brain. And I'm going to do this 100 times. You can do it 20 if you want to start with that. So you're going to plug into yourself. It's an electromagnetic feedback mechanism. And also the thumbs are neutral energetically. So it'll go something like this, and it should be fun. Be like this. And when you get to be 100, you inhale 5 long, full breaths, holding the contact. And you're going to want a little bit of extra oxygen now. You inhale and feel how satisfying it is. Oh my God, I got some more oxygen into my body. And then you relax. It's a very profound practice, and the more you do it, the better it gets. And remember that the diaphragm is a muscle. So as you're doing that rapid breathing, the muscle is going up and down. Every time you use your diaphragm, that muscle's getting stronger, and it will serve you literally the rest of your life. And I'd like to add that the diaphragm in animals, when you're releasing the diaphragms, the way the animal releases the diaphragm is by cross crawl, where the leg and the front paw are going different like this. And they're down on all fours, so they're releasing the diaphragm. When we stood up, as vertical human beings, we lost the ability to release the diaphragm. And the way we release the diaphragm is through laughter. And we certainly have a lot of that going on in the world. We have laugh yoga. We have laugh clubs in China where hundreds and hundreds of people come together and all they do is laugh. And I went to the original first Healing Power of Laughter and Play conference on the Queen Mary in 1983. And Norman Cousins was the featured speaker, and he had been seriously ill, and he went and rented Marx Brothers movies and W.C. Fields and different comedies, and he literally laughed his way back to health. So keep that in mind when you get a chance to laugh. Every chance you get, go ahead and laugh. And you'd be surprised how satisfying it is and how easily it comes sometimes. So Yogi Bhajan would teach that for mental illness. I use it as an energizer for the pituitary gland and the pineal gland and the entire body. And I basically wake up in the morning and I think, yeah, I'm crazy and I'm really insane. And how can I get out of this box? And so you do that by practice, different kinds of practice that are helpful for building your electromagnetic energy and purifying the 72,000 nadis of your body and purifying the 3 channels, the spine and the right nostril and the left nostril. So these techniques work, and the more you do them, the better they're going to get and the more interesting they're going to get. And you can see you can do that. You can do long, deep breathing instead of fast if you like. Take 20 long, deep breaths, and that will be just as satisfying. But practice is really going to be your secret. Welcome back. I hope that's been fun so far and really informative and useful to discover the mysteries of how your body works. And it's not taught well, and once you learn it, you got it, and then you can teach other people. And if you do the practices regularly for 30 days, let's say all the practices, then you can go and teach other people, and with remarkable results. And when people tell you what they're feeling in their body, you'll be amazed. And one of my techniques is you make your patient, you make your student your teacher. So you say, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? What is it feeling? And they go, no, I can't explain it well. Come on. And then they'll come out with real poetry and they'll tell you something remarkable. And the young kids, I have to peel them off the ceiling. They've got so much energy running through their body. So this next practice is what I call left nostril clearance, right brain clearance. And it comes from Dr. Vasant Lad, who's the premier Ayurvedic doctor in Albuquerque. He was a student of Baba Haridas and remarkable clear soul. And this was taught to him by his teacher. So I want you to understand a really basic concept here that's really, really terrifically important. And it's the idea that your right brain governs your left side of your body and your left brain governs the right side of your body. So if you have a left brain stroke, your right side is going to be paralyzed. So that's how you know for sure that what I'm telling you is true. So you'll see people walking around like with the right side paralyzed. Oh, so did you have a left brain stroke? And they go, yeah, I did. So you go to YouTube, and probably the most popular video on YouTube is by a woman who wrote a book called My Stroke of Insight. She's 39 years old. She had a massive genetic stroke. She knew everything. She taught brain physiology at Harvard, and she talks about what her experience was. And it's a great book. It's been translated into 30 languages. I teach it in Japan. I teach all kinds of stuff like that. And so your right brain is your calming, your meditation brain, your artistic brain. And your left brain is your doing brain, your thinking brain, your organizing brain, your doing stuff. And most people are living in their left brains, literally doing stuff constantly, and not realizing that they're overamping their left brain. And what she figured out from her experience was she was way living in too much in her left brain, and that she had to move into her right brain as well. And the way you do that inside the brain is through a physiology called the corpus callosum, which goes from one side to the other. And that's how the right brain communicates with the left brain. And women have better developed corpus callosums than men. There's a little bit of trivia. And so this particular practice is so simple and it's really kind of fun. So I'm going to show you how you do it. And this was passed on to Dr. Ladd from his teacher and from the ancient rishis. So when Dr. Ladd does it, he does it a little bit more dramatically than I do. I'm going to teach you a little bit easier, and then you can increase the force of it as you go along. So basically, I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to close the right nostril, and I'm going to blow out the left as if you were blowing out a tube. Like that. So inhale again. So that's 10. And then you sit and you feel inside of your body. What does that feel like? Now, Dr. Ladd, who's very, very pure, he feels energy like, oh, it's whooping around his body, and he's really makes it fun for you. So by purifying that left channel, which is your female channel, which is your silver channel, which is your negative channel, and that's going to purify your right brain. And so I think it's a really good practice, and I think it works really well. So the question is, what's really important in pranayama practice? And the answer is tissues. Lots of them. Cleaning your nose, making sure it's nice and clean, rinsing your mouth with water, rinsing your nose with water so that everything is nice and clean when you do your practice. A nice thing to do in the morning. So I think the song goes, I've been working on my issues. I've used up a box of Kleenex tissues. So make sure your passages are clean and pure before you do the practice. Now this next practice, I call it brain hum. And it's really kind of cool. And it involves, you're going to close what's called the tragus of your ear down so that your ears are going to be closed. And then you're going to take 3 fingers on the inner eyebrow and in the inner corner of the eye and down. So they're going to be pretty tight and pretty straight up and down. And you're going to close the tragus and you're going to exhale your air. And then you're going to inhale, and you're going to hum a high-pitched hum. Inhale again. I vary the tone. So you're doing 5 high, and then you're going to do 5 low. So inhale. Feel the vibration inside your head. Then put your hands down and feel inside your body. Feel what's going on. Sounds will become a little bit more acute because you've closed off the sound. So you're actually on acupuncture points from my point of view. This point here, when you open your jaw, that hole there is called Tingong, hearing palace, small intestine 19. And then the inner corner of the eyebrow, which goes to your pituitary gland, is called bladder 2. And the beginning of the bladder meridian is the inner corner of the eye, which I call Grand Central Station for everything that's going on in your body, where you see energies switch from right to left. So this is really a lovely practice, and the brain, the head, the skull was all meant to reverberate. And the reason it reverberates so well is that you have 8 sinuses in your body, in your head. You have 4 on each side, and they're hollow, so they cool the air, they disinfect it, they circulate it, and they also allow for reverberation of sound. So you can hear, you can sing, you can speak words, and actually feel it reverberate inside of your head. And really, really quite interesting. And I'm going to make one more point about the crossing of the energy in your body. which is really, really fascinating. And I'm going to take just 2 seconds. At the very, very top of your spine, your top cervical vertebrae, the next connection before it goes into the brain is called the medulla oblongata. It's about 1 inch long, and about 450,000 or 500,000 nerve endings cross there and go from right to left, which is why your right brain governs your left and your left brain governs your right, and it crosses in the medulla oblongata, and there's a direct connection between your medulla and your third eye. And Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the great autobiography of a yogi, he's called the medulla oblongata the mouth of God, which is something I think we should pay attention to it. And it's not taught very much in physiology, and I think as time goes by, we're going to learn a lot more about it. So I call that brain hum. You're actually humming your whole brain at different frequencies. Sometimes I'll use 3 different frequencies, but I like high and low to start. And it should be fun where you vary the frequency and you can move it around in different parts of your head too. So it's like an interior adventure of your skull, which most people don't get to have. So that's called brain hum. That's what I call it. And you're plugging your electromagnetic energy into yourself and you're doing the practice. Okay, so now we've really been starting to go inside of our body. We're feeling the chi move around. We're moving through the channel. Sometimes it'll be as colors. Sometimes it'll be as lights. Sometimes it'll be as sounds. All kinds of different things just happen, and you just watch it like a picture show. And it's the body's hugely intelligent, and most people treat the body like it's stupid, and it's really not. It's like a miracle. Really a serious miracle. And the more you tap into it, the more amazing it gets. So if you go on YouTube under my name or under the title Inquire Within, I have a DVD on the great Saint Ramana Maharshi and where he lived and what he did. He attained enlightenment when he was 16. He died around 1950. And Life magazine wrote a 6-page article on him in 1949. And it's had probably 100,000 views with no promotion. Just people are really interested in what's called non-dual philosophy or Advaita. And Ramana Maharshi was really the great master of Inquire Within. And so really what we're doing is we're sitting quiet enough for a little bit longer to feel what's going on inside of our body, to feel the subtle and then to feel the subtle within the subtle. And if you will, the subtle within the subtle within the subtle. So it's pretty fun. So this next practice is called closing the 10 gates. And it's so simple, you say, oh, it just can't be that powerful. But you'll have to experience for yourself. So in yoga, in meditation, in adventures of consciousness, we want people to go inside. That the answers that you're looking for are not going to be outside. This perpetual swirl of the world and all the vrittis and mind waves and everything is just literally going to go on forever. And your job is to drop into yourself and wake up, and say hello, and actually meet yourself. And it's a pretty exciting adventure, and the results are guaranteed. So do the practice, and you'll see. So the idea of closing the 10 gates is to close the world from outside stimulus. So don't do this yet because you won't hear me. If you do it, you're going to plug your thumbs into your ears so that you don't hear anything. Your second finger is going to go to your brain. So you're going to close your hearing. You're going to close your thinking. You're going to close your eyes, your visual, you're going to close your smell, and you're going to close your talking and taste. So by closing the 10 gates, you're withdrawing from the external universe and you're going inside. And there's an electromagnetic feedback from every finger back into your head, which will affect your entire body. So very simple. I think you're going to like it. I'll show you how it's done. You're going to plug your ears. 2. And so you're going to inhale through your nose, hold it, close your nose, and hold it for 10 seconds. And then exhale and inhale again. Hold it for 10 seconds. Again. And relax. And feel inside of your body, and you might find your hearing is more acute. Even your taste or your nose or your seeing might be more acute from the practice because you've stopped it and you've relaxed it long enough for it to become clearer. And your electromagnetic feeding into your ears, into your brain, into your eyes, into your nose, into your mouth. So I do that 10 times. It's very easy to do and passes quickly. And it's called closing the 10 gates. Okay, we're going to have some fun now. We're going to do a practice called microcosmic orbit. And this comes from the ancient Taoists in China. And I have a master's degree in Chinese history and philosophy. I've taught in college, and I've taught the same Chinese history, philosophy, and medicine in 2 acupuncture schools. And so I'm quite stoked on this particular practice, partly because it's so simple. It involves a little bit of visualization, but just bear with me and just practice the visualization. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. So Yogananda talked about the spiritualization of the spine. And basically the whole deal is in the spine, from the sacrum, where the Kundalini energy rests at the base of your spine, which is like the keystone to your entire pelvis. And then you have 5 lumbar vertebrae, and you have 12 thoracic vertebrae, and you have 7 vertebrae in your neck, and coming up into your head. Now, one of the things about the Chinese is the Chinese absolutely got the program right when they developed and evolved acupuncture over 2,000 years of experience. So we need to pay attention to them and see what it is that they have to say. So that's the basic format. You're going to start at the base of your spine. You're going to visualize the tip of your spine, up inside of your spine, sacrum, 5 lumbars, 12 thoracics, 7 cervicals, and then we're going to come over the top and we're going to go down the front through the chakras to in front of the rectum. Then the energy is going to jump over the rectum, and we're going to inhale up, and then we're going to exhale down. So we're going to inhale up to the top of the head, and then we're going to exhale down the front. And eventually you're just going to find, oh, this is really easy. I want to do this more. But we're basically going to do 10 circuits of the microcosmic orbit. And it's something that's profound. So the channel that runs inside of the spine is called a governing vessel. And is very, very well established, and it's really, really tremendous energy, and the acupuncturists know how to work with this very, very, very well. And so it starts at the base of the spine, just on the back side of the rectum. And we're going to come up inside of the spine, and we're going to inhale up, and we're going to visualize sacrum, 5 lumbars, 12 thoracics, 7 cervicals, to the top of the head, and then we're going to exhale down the front. And then we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're not going to pay too much attention to the details of the front. You can figure that out later with your chakra machines. And this is going to purify your spine, and it's going to create a microcosmic orbit that is constantly going in your body, whether you're practicing it or not. So the idea is you're tapping into something that's already happening. You're enhancing it, and you're purifying it, and it's going to change your health. It's going to change your consciousness. It's going to make you healthy, happy, holy. So we're going to sit up straight. I'm going to uncross our legs. And we're going to exhale all the old air. Literally all. Get it out. And then inhale. Visualize your sacrum, your 5 lumbars, Inhaling, inhaling, 12 thoracics, 7 cervicals to the top of your head, and then exhale down with relief. And then jump across your rectum and come back up. Inhale up and down. So you're literally changing your entire electromagnetic energy just with this simple practice. Inhale up, 5 lumbars, 12 thoracics, 7 cervicals, over the top of your head and down. So that constitutes 3. We'll do it again. And then sit and feel inside your body. And as you start to feel your energy move through your body, you'll say, oh, maybe that strange bearded fellow actually knew what he was talking about. It's possible. It's possible. So that's called the microcosmic orbit. And it's a very remarkable. You can do it anytime. You can do it sitting at your desk. You can do it lying in bed. And particularly when you meditate, it's a fabulous way to put you into your breath and put you into your meditation and put you inside of your body. And all you're doing is you're following a pre-established path that we know is there for sure, and we know how it works. And so the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So that's called a microcosmic orbit. And by the way, a giraffe has 7 cervical vertebrae as well, except that they're huge, by the way. So you're visualizing through the spine, and everything happens through the spine. Every information comes in through the spine, information goes out through the spine. And so you want to have a flexible spine. I've been teaching yoga since 1974 all over the world. And so a flexible spine is really the answer to what's going to keep you in the game as an older person. Most people think that in England you see the people, the sign for elderly crossing, and they've got a cane and they're all bent over like that, and it's really a message to say, well, this is what it's like when you get older, whereas that ain't necessarily so. And if you work at it, as Baba Haridas said, if you do the work, you'll get the result, and that's for sure. So our first practice was the alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Very, very simple and root practice to do every day. So we're going to close our right nostril. We're going to inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. We're going to do that 9 times, 18 times, 27 times, up to 100. And each time you sit and feel inside of your body. And you can increase increments every month. The second one is Swasayam, 8 Kriyas. And you can take a piece of paper and draw a line, and you can just write this down so that you can remember it easily. So it's in your nose, out your nose. In your nose, out your mouth. In your mouth, out your nose. And then a slight variation, we're going to inhale left and exhale right. We're going to do that 5 times. Go back to the left. And on the 5th exhalation, you inhale right and do the same thing. Exhale left, inhale right, exhale left. 5 times. Very, very simple to remember. The next practice is Shitali, cooling breath, where you curl your tongue with 17 muscles in it. There's 10 muscles in the roof of your mouth, in the soft palate in the back. And whenever you feel energy moving in your body, you can contract the muscles in the top of that palate, and you'll feel the energy change inside your body. It's a little secret. So you're going to inhale through the tongue. Exhale normally. Inhale. And you're going to do that 10 or 15 times. And sit and feel what's happening inside of your body. Then you're going to do brain hum from Yogi Bhajan, like this. And you're going to do either long, deep breathing for 20 long breaths, or you're going to do 100, kind of like a breath of fire, like this. And then at the end of it, 5 long, deep breaths. Really feel how nice it is to slow down and really feel the oxygen coming into your body 5 times. Then rest and feel inside of your body. Then Dr. Ladd's left nostril, right brain cleanse. So you're going to inhale and forcefully, like that. And you're going to do it 10 times or 15 times. And then sit and feel inside of your body. Then you're going to do a brain hum. You're going to close the tragus of your ear, both sides. You're going to touch the inner eyebrow, the inner corner of the eye, and one more down below. And you're going to inhale. Vary the tone. Vary where you put it inside of your head. Have fun with it. Make it playful. And then 4 low, like, and you really get a sense of how the reverberation happens inside of your head. And then we're going to do closing the 10 gates. Very, very easy to do. And this is a great one to do when you're out in nature, and you do this for 10 breaths, and then you take your hands out and your perceptions of your environment will be extraordinary. So you plug your ear, inhale and hold your breath for 10 seconds or longer. You do that 10 times, and then you sit inside and feel how wonderful you feel inside and how acute your perceptions are. And then the joyous microcosmic orbit, so much fun. I'm going to start at the tip of the spine, the back part of the rectum. We're going to come up literally inside the spine, inhaling up, 5 lumbars, 12 thoracics, 7 cervicals to the top of the head, and exhale down the front. We're going to do that 10 or 15 times and then feel what happens in the body. And also you can track the stages of the moon from this way too. That the new moon is at the base of your spine, and each stage of the moon comes to the top, full moon at the top, and then the waning moon down the front. And it's a nice way to stay in touch with nature and the cycle of the seasons. And at the end of that, you sit and really be quiet. You don't have to quote meditate, or you don't have to do it. Just sit and watch what's happening inside. And results are guaranteed, and you'll be very excited when you see it. And I don't know how many thousands of people who said, I can't meditate, I tried meditating. They do alternate nostril breathing, they do microcosmic orbit, and boom, they're just automatically in meditation, much to their surprise that this is a natural thing and it can be done by everybody, that it's your divine right. So we've really covered a lot of territory, and we're kind of coming to the conclusion of this hopefully beautiful video for you. And we thank my cinematographer, Jason Eagle, and I get a chance to talk with you. I get a chance to get my information out to you, and you get a chance to practice. And there's an old story of the great pianist Horowitz walking down the street, and a Cadillac rolls up and the window goes down, and the guy says, how do you get to Carnegie Hall, the most famous place in the world to play piano? And Horowitz said, practice, practice, practice. So that's really what's going to set you free. And also this idea from Roy Eugene Davis of sitting and savoring the result of your practice. Now, each one of these practices is a world unto itself. You can do them consecutively like that, and then sit and meditate at the end of it. Everybody's going to find their own way. But the idea of chi, the idea of prana is real. The idea of chi and prana moving along channels in organized fashion is real. We know for sure. We know the chakras exist. We know the system exists. It's been proven. It's been passed down for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And all I'm doing myself is passing on what's been given to me. And I practiced it, and I had the ability to feel how that energy moves inside my own body. And it's really quite a thrill. And it's everybody's privilege to wake up to themselves. It's everybody's privilege to wake up to their electromagnetic energy. And then it makes life more fun, more interested. You attract more of what you need, and you meet friends and relationships, and you wake up inside of your body to really the divine cosmos outside, which is a reflection of your inside. So be happy, breathe, live somewhere where the air is clean, and practice, practice, practice. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.